Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
The Galactic Info Experience.
So
oh my gosh.
Here's a video.
Wow, I never watched these again.
And so that's like a little clip that you use. That's the queen in there. You've found the queen.
I tell you what, that moment feels so good. It's hard to capture it in a video. Oh, that's a bee telling the other bees where to go. She's fanning her Nasanov gland. So you can actually see the Nasanov gland in that video, in that little clip. So on the back of her abdomen, wow, thank you.
Jamie on the ball.
Yeah, the back of her abdomen. You can kind of see it. So see how she has all those little black stripes? It's a little gland that's exposed, and that's one of the pheromones, the ways they communicate. And she is signaling to all the other bees where to go, and she's letting them know. You can see them start to move down and into the new hive. It was getting dark. I was racing daylight there, but and then they will eventually do the rest of the work for you.
Now you're doing this with no beekeeper suit, nothing on your hands, nothing.
Yeah, this was a really great colony of bees.
Are there bad colonies of bees?
You know, there are certainly bees that can be more defensive, but...
Why would that be?
Well, if they don't have all the resources they need, if they're in a bad spot, if they don't have a queen, you know, a large colony tends to be more defensive than a smaller one because they have more resources to defend. So sometimes you'll see me do this, and it's a small swarm. So it's a swarm where there's no comb, there's no beeswax, there's no nectar, pollen, or honey, there's no baby bees, so they don't have anything to defend. And they're much gentler, you know, in those cases most of the time. But every colony is different. Every colony has a different behavior and is in a different set of circumstances. I never know what I'm getting myself into.
So what would cause them to be there if they didn't have those resources?
To be where? Like
yeah.
Like in the wall right there. Those bees had been there for a number of years. I don't know exactly how long, but those bees likely were relocating, looking for a new place to live because maybe their hive, something happened to it, it got damaged. Maybe, you know, they felt like they didn't have the resources they needed around their hive and they wanted to move where there were better resources. But that cavity in particular, a wall or the side of a shed or the floor of a shed is a very common place that I remove bees from. I mean, it's so ideal for what the bees want in an environment. It almost is, you know, the same kind of width of a beehive, that space in between the floor. They like a closed environment that's climate controlled with a small entrance that they can easily defend. They like it, you know, protected from the weather and from the elements, and they need a lot of space.
So when you go to a place like that and you see them, that's how you know you don't need an outfit. You don't, because you were just like,
well, I mean, the first.
So now you're all suited up.
So I sawzawed through that, and sometimes they don't like the vibrations of the tools that I'm using. And this is the first. I have no idea what to expect of how defensive they'll be. So.
And are you getting stung here?
No, these bees are not trying to sting me at all.
So now you've gotten rid of the mask. You're still just handling this.
Sure.
You just took a bite of it. You're a psycho. There's bees there.
I've been working hard. That was a long removal.
I know, but there's bees flying around your face, and you're just biting into that honeycomb. There's bees all over that thing.
There really aren't. Huh? I mean, they're not.
What?
They're not trying to sting me. There are a lot of bees there. I mean,
I understand, but you just took a bite with bees to the left and the right of your mouth.
I tell you what, you're watching me.
Look at this.
At my most joyful moments. I love doing this.
That's your most joyful moment, to just take a bite out of their house?
No, but this whole removal process, there's nothing I'd rather be doing.
So there's like, how many bees are in there if you had to take a wild guess?
I hate doing this, but I mean, maybe 200,000, 250,000.
Wow.
That is a large beehive. Those bees have been there for some time, and not only do we know because of the size, but also the the color of the comb. So you can see that it's darker. It's almost dark brown. And if you think of, that's a beautiful shot of the comb with a bunch of pollen. So it's full of those brightly colored there's even some white pollen at the top. There's white and orange and yellow and red colored pollen mixed in with some nectar. And the pollen is the bee's protein source. So pollen is actually a great source of protein. I think there's like 2 grams of protein per tablespoon of pollen. Pound for pound, it's a better source of pollen than beef or chicken, but most people...
Better source of protein.
Better source of protein, thank you. But
Is it as bioavailable?
But most people aren't going to eat a pound of pollen, of course.
Is it gross?
It doesn't have much of a taste or flavor. To me, it kind of tastes like wheatgrass almost.
So it's
It's not
you put
sweet.
in a shake or something?
Yes, it's very very mild. Not much flavor in my opinion. But
Is it as bioavailable as like chicken or beef? Because you know that there's certain plant proteins that aren't that bioavailable, even though there's a high gram of protein per ounce.
we wouldn't want to harvest as much pollen from bees as we do other protein sources, of course. And this is their food source, so we shouldn't really be taking this to consume.
I'm not saying to take it from them, but I know that bee pollen is something that people do supplement their diet with.
Yes.
And I just was curious if you know that if it's bioavailable.
I don't know.
Mm.